You know, sometimes before you start an interview, you get a chance to talk to your guests and you're finding out stuff you didn't expect to find out. And here at the Shared Universe Podcast Studios in the Jersey Shore, I'm Rob Akinpour. This is the A Game. My guest is a man who has a great band that I unfortunately missed when they played the Stone Pony in Asbury Park last year. I was bummed. And just ought to give you an idea of what kind of fan base we have. Courtney, you're not going to be able to see this, but Ming, if you put up bottom row in the middle, this is in our production studio, is a poster of the Dandy Warhols when they had the show at Irving Plaza. And one of my co-workers at the building, Eric Swift, is like a huge fan of yours as well. So we put it in the production studio, so we have it in the background there. So when we're cutting commercials,
what is it that you're playing? Irving Plaza is part of our '90s life.
Yeah, that is an old poster that Eric had, and he decided to bring it in and just decorate the production studio with it. So it was like, yeah, and it's in.
Is there any way it wouldn't have the year on it?
No, it just had the date. It was a June date. As a matter of fact, yeah, June 13th was the date.
Does it say if it's a Friday the 13th?
You know, that's a good. You know, it might have been because of being that the month had been the 6th of June. Yeah, it might have been June, Friday 13th. Might have been.
Yeah, there's something like that. We had. If it was, then I think that was the one that Steven Sprouse and May Pang were backstage when we went backstage after we played. They're just sitting there, and Steven Sprouse was, the clothing designer that dressed Axl Rose in that whole Catcher's get up, part Catcher, part fashion. Mm-hmm. Andy Warhol's buried in a Steven Sprouse suit, and then May Pang was, of course, when Yoko Ono gave John a year off. She sent him off to go fuck off with Harry Nilsson for a year in what's referred to as the Lost Weekend, where they were notorious asshole drunks. And she sent May Pang along with him and said she will take care of everything. She will clean up after you and take care of you and make sure you get home alive and all that shit. So that was really cool. And that's my main memory of the Irving Plaza, was that was the first of the Andy Warhol players that we got to meet because of our name.
Mm-hmm. That's wild. And I think we're trying to timeline it. We're trying to figure it out here. I think my engineer Ming was saying 1998 is the possible date of that.
No. Well, it's just what years in that era had that date in that month, and that date.
That's what he was looking up, just to make sure.
Yeah, it can only be, and not that the internet is that easy to look things up in, really, but.
Yeah, well, you know what? It does help to find certain information, and sometimes you find the information. I have found when I'm doing my homework on a show that I think I found something. They're like, no, that's not true. I'm like going, oh, great, I look like an ass. But the good thing of what I'm about to bring up about Courtney Taylor-Taylor from the Dandy Warhols, as we were just talking off the air, you're actually putting together a film. So this is your first foray into the film work outside of the videos you've done for the band.
No, I've made a couple short films, but I've never made a feature length before, and it's cool. It's my graphic novel that I released.
It's funny because I was actually going to bring that up because I remember Gus Van Sant had some complimentary words about the graphic novel which you put out in 2009. So it's interesting the timing of it. So now here it is, how many years later, and it's finally going to hit screens once you get it done, maybe next year, hopefully.
Yeah. It'll it's a bit Night on Earth. I've got all these different whole different things going on all over the place. And I have an international team working in their own. It's interesting. It's an interesting job, and it keeps me very busy, way more busy than the band, and the band kept me really busy. So
yeah, I was about to say, so now you got the band, a new album, and now this. It's like, okay, Courtney will have some time off in 2028 if he's lucky.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And who knows? By then, I might just want to retire. I wouldn't mind just fucking off for the rest of my life,
Hey, look,
or
if the movie does well, you might be able to, man.
or at least uh, until I'm tired of it. And I don't know if you've ever been to Greece, but
No, I can't say I have,
the
unfortunately.
Greek islands are boy, I mean, you could spend a lot of time there and not notice.
So that would be the place where you just sit there and go, okay, if I'm going to leave the industry and I'm done, flying over to Greece and just relaxing and enjoying that life would be like the ideal for the retirement.
I think so. It's where I'm certainly afraid to go get a one-way ticket there anytime before retirement.
Right. And if I can bring up the photos so everybody would know, the graphic novel One Model Nation, is out there if you want to read the graphic novel. It's still available from Courtney Taylor-Taylor. And again, as he's working on the movie, hopefully, cross our fingers, we'll see this by 2027. And it is a process, as you're discovering, as you're working across the globe with many different people. But what phase are we in? Are we still in the very early phases of this as you're plotting it out and trying to cast it, I would guess?
No, we're about a quarter of the way done.
That's not bad.
I've been paving with my LA people from the beginning in that direction, and then I'm paving with my South American and Italian and whatever, with the other Spaniards. They're going from the end, working backwards. Or yeah, I think so. That's that's mainly what I've got, and I've yeah, it seems to be working. I get to test people out and see what they're good at, so that I can then go, this lady is amazing at this kind of thing. I'm going to have her do this scene,
right? And
I'll start moving them around.
Do you feel? Do you feel
but
like?
Anyway, let's talk about and the music in it is absolutely mind numbing. Cool. What I get to do musically in this. I mean, I have the main character. When he's an obsessive bicyclist, and that's how he cleanses. It's how he purifies himself from any kind of garbage or damage that's been done to him, or psychologically, whatever. And so he has the song, and obviously you can't have that in the graphic novel. True. It's only in the screenplay, and you can't have it in the screenplay either. You can only say it, the song, but I have it, and it's a Guillaume de Machaut piece from probably 1350, maybe.
Wow. And
it's the most beautiful piece of music I've ever heard in my life. And so I've made a few different versions of it. It's that 3-4 part with the castrati lead going doing that kind of thing, and it's just the male baritone and contra tenor probably down, harmonizing with it, and it's so purifying. It's just the most insane piece of music. It does something that I've always aspired to do. Occasionally I get told that I have done it, and God bless those people for finding it then, and it's so flattering to me. But this is stunning, and I've got one version of it is in this kind of very Flemish ancient language that's similar to probably what it was written in. Machaut worked in Bohemia. He worked for the king of Bohemia, which I believe would have been maybe a Charles II or something like that. Or no, maybe that was the battle that the king of Bohemia lost to. I've ended up spending so much time in England that I became fascinated with the history. So I know like the Battle of Crécy, where the Black Prince Edward just destroyed the French alliance, outnumbered like 3-1, and he was just the most amazing genius strategist. But and then I've got it in German because the thing takes place mostly in Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a modern language German version adaptation as well for when he rides in Berlin. This is the song that plays in German, auf Deutsch, if you will. And then when he's riding across Northern Europe, he gets the Flemish version of it, the ancient Flemish version, and I'm going to try to stick one more in there, probably Italian or Latin if I can figure it out, using Google Translate.
Always helps.
see if it can do Latin. I've never tried it.
I love the excitement that is coming off of you about all this, and obviously you being a creative force with music, and now being able to kind of go this direction with your career and be able to do a film like this. I mean, it has to feel very different, I would think, than what you've done with the Dandy Warhols, because obviously it's a very different project and it's a very different side of you that is coming out.
I guess so. I mean, yeah, all of my friends just look at the images and the people and listen to the music as I'm building, and they're just like, this is just more of your wet dream, and it's great. I mean, it feels like the same. I feel the same about it,
okay.
Like you really feel like, oh my God, everyone is going to just love this. No one's going to leave their home. Everyone's going to starve to death because they just want to watch it over and over again. And then, 2 hours later, you're like, this is not a very good movie.
Oh,
this is kind of boring. And, and that's how everything is for every artist. I worked with this composer for one day, and I couldn't deliver the goods. I wasn't a sophisticated enough producer back then in the mid 90s, but Michael Convertino is his name, and he was a Academy Award winning monster of a guy, and he had come down, and he was like, it's the coolest sounding record. How did you do it? But I didn't know how to go and do that in reverse and work on something that's already been recorded and classical. I knew how to get things through vintage mics and vintage amps and crusty this and make dirty that and stick a Shure 57 in a champagne glass to mic the grand piano and all that stuff. But I didn't know how to go back and do that later. So I failed him, but I personally got something out of it, which was this. When he worked with Baryshnikov and he scored White Nights, he said that as I was whinging about, I'm sorry, I can't do this, Mike. I'm failing here. I can't get it. I don't know. I don't have these skills or whatever for this new digital recording stuff. And 2 years later, I would be great at it. But unfortunately, I missed my chance. But he said that when he was doing the same thing to Baryshnikov and going, I'm not this guy,
Oh, wow.
Mike Baryshnikov. He's going, Mike, I'm not this,
Right.
And which I thought was like, oh, Jesus, Mike. I mean, call him Mike. Yeah, he said the Baryshnikov, Michael Convertino said, Mike.
Yeah, right, exactly.
right back at you, Mike. He said, every great genius knows deep inside they're actually a charlatan. And so I got that, and that has helped me immensely to never get writer's block, never be uninspired, never get too down on myself,
That's important. It's absolutely important not to get too down.
I can't imagine how I would have done it without that, because Jesus, self-doubt is what, there's no great artist who who doesn't feed on their own self-doubt. I mean, that seems to be the impetus for quite a lot. You know, I was just realizing as I was saying, you know, there are those things that you realize as you're saying them.
Mm-hmm.
And when I said, everything I do from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed is done with one intention, and that is therapy. If I go to lunch, what I order is part of therapy to me. It's like, oh, if I, you know, that'll be great. That'll be perfect. You know, I won't feel all heavy, or this will be great. I'll feel really heavy, and I'll just want to lay around and smoke weed, you know, or whatever. Like, it's all therapy.
Right. And that makes sense to me, because I think about it from a songwriting perspective, because again, when you're bringing music out, it's something very therapeutic about bringing out the thoughts and the emotions that you're bringing out in your music. Now, you don't think?
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's the whole thing. It's the whole thing. There you go. You're exactly right. Yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, that's the difference between art and entertainment.
Yeah.
No, you know, a piece of art is, you know, at least in my fantasy of history and artists, is it's all therapy. You know, anything from Pissarro to, you know, Gauguin to Debbie Harry, you know, everything was a self-indulgent act, either fantasizing the beauty within you, or trying to honestly unload, somewhat safely but somewhat not safely, your darkest, grossest, most base and selfish impulses and things that you loathe about yourself. And, you know, I mean, that's art to me. Entertainment is obviously something different.
Yeah,
you know, and
no, I get that.
It's a great skill, something I don't have, you know, so it was never an option for me. But yeah, man, the therapeutic thing about art is cool, because a real artist can also then truly say, I don't actually care if anyone ever hears this.
Wow.
It's not for them.
Well, then let me take everything you just said and let me apply it to what you're about to release, because the new album is all covers. So you're applying all of this, and this is your art, taking the art of some great songs and putting your art to it. And because I think the one thing that I've noticed over the years, when we look at covers, either you're doing it pretty much like the original, or you're putting enough of a twist that is, in your case, the Dandy Warhols twist to it, and making it your art. Would you say that's accurate with what you're about to release on March 20th?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that sounds in there pretty good. I am a little suspect. Like, I feel guilty every time you call it art.
Okay.
You know, it feels more like craft.
I can understand that, because you
are. Am I just going to be that guy now who goes, no, it's this other word?
No. But I really am starting to get what you mean by that, because again, it's like
I'm just talking out my ass. I don't write or anything, you know. But art makes me go, ooh, I feel a little phony every time that word comes up when I'm doing a cover song. Although, man, I got the Love Song, our cover of Love Song by The Damned. I just got the master back for the single version of that.
Oh, wow.
And definitely it is a work of art. Like,
that's cool.
Completely couldn't stop playing it on repeat, just laying on the sofa and smoking weed and candles, and I just couldn't stop. It just made me feel so beautifully at peace, and it made me feel better about the world, you know, and my place in it, and my friends' places in it, and life and death and the cycles, and, you know, everything. It was all there. So yeah, I mean, that does what art is supposed to do, you know.
And it's interesting just the choices that you make, because it does run the gambit. You talk about the Damned, we got to talk about the Cult, the Violent Femmes, Bob Dylan, the Beatles. I mean, there is no rhyme or reason to it, and I love some of the song choices too. I'm a huge fan of the Cult, so the fact you picked two, I'm like going, all hail, fantastic. I mean,
that was a absolutely underrated songwriting team. You know, Billy and Ian. They're, you know, well, they also went hair metal at the end and kind of ruined all, you know, like.
Are you saying, is there a difference between early Cult and, let's say, toward the end of the 90s Cult? Yeah, I'll give you that without a doubt. There's no question.
Yeah, or the 89, the pre-grunge, right before grunge happened. If they had waited to put out that record, you know, where they moved to LA, they fluffed up their hair, you know, they're opening for Motley Crue, and they'd gone hair metal, and the production kind of glossed over where the soul lies in where they were, you know, in their 80s, early, you know, the formative.
Yeah, so we'll talk about.
They took a left turn stylistically, and I think it was a bad idea because it gave a wrong impression to people about what this is. And the videos from that record, except for, well, I think Edie is on that record, Ciao Baby, and that is, whoa, what a masterpiece of a song.
It is.
And the video is not nauseating on that, but the other bigger wow pyrotechnics on stage rock videos are unwatchable to, you know, for my blood, and that could be because I'm a arrogant sort of homespun filmmaker or whatever, but yeah, I think that set them back, you know, and derailed them in a way.
It's interesting to kind of get your perspective on it too, because you're looking at it, and in my head, I'm already going as somebody who was working at alternative radio in the 90s. There was, okay, where you went for the covers with Rain and She Sells Sanctuary. I can throw in Little Devil as another one that was in that pocket, and then progressively go over here. And if I'm reading you correctly, Firewoman was sort of the moment where you kind of went, well, they went from here to here.
Yeah, Firewoman is still really, I mean, it's the music is cool.
Yeah.
The image is what I think really derailed them, you know, how they aligned themselves. It would be like, you know, just realigning your political party, you know, going from one side to the other.
Kind of saying, well, look, you're really not a hair metal band. Why would you even, I get it.
They were a biker. They were a Vietnam vet rock in the sexiest goth adjacent. They invented a thing, you know, and they're, oh God, what a band. But, you know, it's great. I get to be friends with them. I get to, you know,
That's cool.
I went to see them, I don't know, a couple of years ago, last time they were playing up near my other house. And it was amazing. I got ushered backstage to say hi, and it was like hugs, bro hugs.
Nice.
And, oh my God, how have you been? You know, and it was like, oh God, you know, it was so nice. And then of course they were absolutely amazing.
No surprise there. No surprise.
But yeah, I feel like, you know, they She Sells Sanctuary, you know, is a legendary tune, and it gets downloaded, massive amounts of downloads, millions and millions.
Modern rock classic, without a doubt.
I am so glad that they are remembered for that.
Yes.
Unbelievably cool and groundbreaking pop culture changing piece of music at the right time, you know, and the right look on the video. And yeah, it was like go-go 60s and biker 1970, like blended with goth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so cool. I love that band.
Great band. Yeah.
One of the great bands of my life. And me and my bros that are all, we call ourselves the class of 89.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all in bands together in 89 that were heavily influenced by the Cult, probably more than any single other band. We were all influenced by the Cult.
So would you say that was probably your favorite to put on the new album, knowing that you put 2 Cult songs on the album?
I didn't know that we put 2 songs.
Yeah,
on the new album.
I was looking at the track listing.
What are they? Are they Rain?
Yeah, Rain and She Sells Sanctuary. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I was looking at the track
listing. I also play Wildflower.
Oh, great song. Great
wow.
song. Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
I love you every hour. Sorry. Anyway. As I'm with Courtney Taylor-Taylor.
So good.
Yeah.
Now exactly. I want to pick up the guitar.
There we go. We get Courtney Taylor-Taylor doing Wildflower. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway. All right. Getting back to what we're talking about. Oh, yeah. Pinups will be out March 20th. Pick It Up is got some great covers. One of the leads is your bandmate is fronting Kiss Off, doing the take on the Violent Femmes, which I thought was really cool. Yeah,
it's cool having rock chick vocals.
Yeah,
it's unexpected. You know, it was so cool. Like, oh, there you go.
Yeah,
you know, and how would you sing that? I wouldn't even know how to change it into a thing, because the songwriting is because of the thing, you know, the whole his style.
Oh yeah, Gordon Gato's style of the Violent Femmes, of course, yeah.
So it was such. I feel like it was really a brilliant, inspired moment, and it worked out really well.
I'm glad it did, and I hope it does well for you guys. And by the way,
you know what we have on there that nobody does is nobody covers the Dolls.
That's true. That they were the kind of band that you sit there and go, being in Jersey and being around the New York area, a lot of people remember them. Now you go other parts of the country, they'll be like, who? Just the way it is.
All the cool kids that are now middle aged, you know, love the Dolls. Everybody loves the Dolls. You know, they give good photo. You know, you can circulate all these amazing, but like, what band is that? Oh, it's the New York Dolls, of course. You know, like they just look like a bunch of like overdressed, slutty, ugly girls. It was incredible, dude.
Johansson was amazing, without a doubt.
They all were Johnny Thunders, Sylvain. Oh my God, they were so good. And nobody covers their music, so I was like, well, I want to cover that one.
There you go.
And then there's also the Runaways. I don't think I've ever heard anyone cover the Runaways either.
You know what? That's one of those bands where you know the history. You probably maybe have seen the film that came out, but no, their music is not like, quote unquote, ever crossed into the mainstream in any way, shape, or form. People know it, and you're right. Nobody at all has really ever covered, and you covered Cherry Bomb, which is a great choice.
Yeah, it's the awesome one, I think.
Yeah.
And then what else do we got on there? The Cramps, you know.
Yeah.
Covering the Cramps, who are covering the Gay Lads. The Gay Lads, a soul band. Actually wrote that song Goo Goo Muck and recorded it in 59, 61, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Gay Lads, and a soul band, you know, African American.
Yeah.
Like cool, badass version. So the Cramps must have heard that, grew up with that, and then covered that in the early 80s. And then, of course, that's when I heard it.
Good stuff. And were you guys planning on, I know you're going to be busy with the film, but are you planning on maybe doing another tour and trying to do some of these covers and stuff?
No, we're taking a year off of touring.
Okay. Can understand that.
Yeah, we haven't taken a year off ever, you know, except for COVID, but then I was in the studio 5 days a week just to have some fun, drinking a lot of wine. And I have a wine bar in my studio that's, it's open to the public. It's on that very outside corner of the block. And we didn't get to be open. So we got all this wine.
I'm going to bring up wine when I get to my next segment, when I do random shots with you, because I do realize you were doing a podcast that had something to do with wine and rock. So I wanted to get into that.
Wine acoustics.
Wine acoustics. Yeah. I got a specific question for that. It is Courtney Taylor-Taylor from the Dandy Warhols here on the A Game. Pinups is out March 20th. All the great covers are available. You can download that. And my random shot segment, I usually stalk social media, but I kind of have a couple of questions that are geared toward your biggest hit, Bohemian Like You. But since we're bringing up wine acoustics and the pairings of wine and rock, and this may be a little out there, but I figure you might be able to play along. If you were to take a certain wine and try to partner it up with a certain band, what band comes to your head if I were to say, all right, I give you Merlot. What band do you partner up with a Merlot?
Laibach.
Okay. If I give you Cabernet?
Neil Young.
Ooh, would not have thought of that. That's cool. Pinot Grigio.
Pinot Grigio.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a tawdry. I'm immediately taken to the video of the Italian late 60s singer who had made up a nonsense song of American sounding, bless you, let in mess, one, two eyes.
I'm going to have to look that up. You got me on that. I'll have to look that
you
up.
can Google it. What Italian artist made up nonsense words and sang them in an American accent, gibberish in an American accent, in a massive Italian hit from the late 60s.
I think Ming's going to check that out for me. Thank you, Ming.
Yeah, and it's a really good song. It's really cool. And it was a big hit. And he was like a English teacher, or maybe an Italian literature teacher. But
right.
that tawdry cheapness of of that stunt, the shamelessness, it reminds me of Pinot Grigio.
Let me give
it's good. It's like the poor man's Chablis.
I like this. Let me give you two.
White version.
I'm going to give you two more. I say Prosecco. Where do you go?
Pulp.
Ooh, I haven't heard that name in a long time. That's good. I like that. One more.
I probably drank Prosecco with him in what's that city? Not Trieste, but another one of those kind of cool, like, is that an Italian name or is that like a Austro-Prussian era name that never got changed when it became Italy?
Mm-hmm.
One of those kind of, Treviso. That's in that area where Prosecco comes from. And I think I drank Prosecco with what's his butt?
Pulp.
What's his glasses? Yeah, he is great. I only met him once. We were at a wedding, and yeah, he is a really cool guy. A lot cooler than me, I'll tell you that. I got drunk and I'm an idiot. He's very intellectual and dignified the whole time.
I'll give you one more in this category. I'm going to go Zinfandel. What band comes to mind?
Journey.
Wow. Okay. I get it. Didn't see it coming, but I get it. Hey, I asked. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Random shots with Courtney Taylor-Taylor, the Dandy Warhols. Okay, Bohemian Like You. The video has had over 30 million hits, which I think is fantastic. One of your 8 top 40 hits that you've had in the UK, which, again, Great staying
That one
power.
went to number 2.
It went to number 2, and you were top 5 in 5 countries with that song, which is a hell of an accomplishment with that. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think you sold 1 million copies in the UK, which is an accomplishment in itself, for God's sake. But this song will never die because it always seems to find another film on top of another film on top of another, where the song keeps popping up in films. Could you possibly name at least 3 films the song's in?
No.
I
don't know.
All right.
I don't really watch movies.
Okay.
I don't really.
A guy making a movie who doesn't watch movies. Okay.
I'm such a sensitive, like, my icky filter is really like flimsy. I can't keep it out. So I'm scared of movies.
Okay.
They have to be really good and not gratuitously anything aggressive, abrasive, or unsavory,
All right. Well, I'm going to give you a few and then you're going to react, and I'm not sure how you're going to react, but the one that it pops up the most because the film is run constantly on TNT and TBS is The Replacements with Keanu Reeves, which is about the replacement football team. Then
that sounds kind of like my kind of thing, but no, I've never seen it.
Okay. You got Little Nicky. That was a Adam Sandler flick from back in the day.
I love Adam Sandler because he I think he was one of those guys that, like, hey, I'm going to write another movie for us, you guys. Where do we want to go this time? Okay, great. We'll set it in Costa Rica.
Why?
Awesome.
That sounds
about. It's going to center around a grocery store, but I'm going to have to make it like in an American concentrated suburb of, and they just take his friends and party, which is very similar to what the Dandy Warhols have always done. We have our friends learn how to be our techs and go on, so we can all go on tour together.
Yeah, so it keeps it kind of a family affair for you guys, which is cool.
Absolutely.
And here's one more film that it was in, because I found it was like in 9 different films. Man of the Year, that was one of Robin Williams' last films when he was playing the talk show host turned politician turned suddenly, because of computer error, he's president of the United States.
Wow. Imagine that.
Yeah, I know. Art imitating life.
Right.
By the way, worth checking out. It's actually a really good film. I got to say that.
Okay. Yeah. Again, haven't seen it.
Okay. Well,
but I did love Robin Williams' whole thing. He's a big part of. If you're my age, he's a big part of your life. Just because
I'm only about 4 years older than you, brother, so I understand.
Mork from Ork.
Yeah, not new. Tell you.
Right.
But does that kind of blow your mind a little bit when you sit there and go, okay, so there's been at least about a dozen films. There's been about 6 television shows, including Dancing with the Stars, have used the song. Part of your song was filtered into the theme to Cash Cab, which was a game show that was running for about 7 years on television. I mean, obviously, some of this you're probably going, what? And some of it you may be aware of, but I met the Cash Cab guy, and he didn't recognize me as being a musician at all. Oh wow!
Or anything. I was in Hollywood, so that would be, as far as fame goes, I would be a C- list celebrity. and
the last thing I would call you is Hollywood. That's the funny part. I mean, no.
Yeah, I would go there for work, and that was about it. It was a place that makes me very uncomfortable with myself. But he asked me if he could buy him a cigarette. And I pulled out my cigarettes. And I go, yeah, dude. And I opened, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm smoking the last one right now. And he goes, that's okay, cool. And he got back in, and then somebody goes, that's the guy from Cash Cab.
It's like,
that's the Cash Cab right there.
Mr. Ben Bailey, yeah. Oh, unreal. So,
well, I hope his wife doesn't hear that he tried to bum a cigarette.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Mom, like, oh no, he's good. I just got him in trouble.
Here's something you may not realize about Bohemian Like You. When you look on YouTube, somebody was creative enough on 2 occasions to take 2 Disney films and actually incorporated the song into the classic Disney film, The Aristocats. And then
wow.
Very well done. I love that when the cats are dancing and all of a sudden, here's the hook, and I'm like you. And it worked. It absolutely worked.
Okay, good.
All right. And
I like to hear that.
yeah, and then the other one was a little bit of a short, but they incorporated it into cars. So obviously you're driving in my car. And all of a sudden, here's the race scene with Speed McQueen while Bohemian Like You is underneath. And I'm going, all right, creative. Without a doubt, creative. And obviously, I'm guessing, haven't seen them. If you can find them, it's worth checking out, Courtney, for sure.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm glad that song worked so well. I've remastered it finally because for the 13th anniversary of it, it got remastered and really badly. It massacred it. So I remastered it. I've got a really great dude mastering engineer now, Jim Causey, and he's in like Shreveport or Baton Rouge or something down there.
Okay.
And he is a great all-around guy because he masters country and he masters hip-hop and he masters like LA hipster kind of high production level rock and indie, southern indie, warm kind of, you know, folky swamp. And yeah, he's just really well-rounded. And again, it's somebody who hears what, you know, who understands when you say something and you have to say some pretty abstract shit, you know, like there is a silver, when I want to turn this thing up really loud, there is a silvery fog of pain that comes out too soon. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can have some pain at high volumes. It feels good. There's almost a sexual thing about it, but it has to come at a certain time where maybe your you know, your butt, you know, is feeling it first, and your guts and your heart, and you know, all that stuff. And maybe your jaw and your muscles and all that. Good. And then you can have the pain. If you really want more volume, you're gonna get a little pain, and you're probably gonna like it. So that is now called Bohemian Like You 2025 Master.
Wow.
And it immediately got picked up for a couple different, you know, global ad campaigns. And yeah, it just sounds so good. It sounds like it did the original master, which is still on the video, sounds great. It's warm. It got mastered in a very cold kind of way in the 2011. So I'll never let that happen again. But yeah, God, getting it redone is great. And it makes me feel like people do listen with their ears and their soul and their feel when it hadn't gotten used in anything for years. And then I remastered it, and it does legit sound so much more like it is supposed to, or always did in the old days, on new stereos and new systems, because sonic technology changes every 10 years, you know. And so you can't really be having that unless you're very lucky. Like David Bowie, for example, his stuff sounds amazing still. Why does his stuff sound better than Heroes? You know, that sounds better than other people's, you know, Ashes to Ashes sounds amazing. Sounds better than other people's records. Absolutely. From that era. Golden Years, the same thing. So yeah, mastering is a big deal, and eras are hard to navigate. You know, the other song that I'm very fortunate has lasted is We Used to Be Friends.
Yeah.
That
I know that's I was about to say it's got over 12 million views on YouTube. I mean, that's another comment. You've actually had 3 songs that have had 10 million plus views on YouTube, and that's not an easy accomplishment.
What's the other one?
Let's go back to one of the first Impact songs. Not If You Were the Last Junkie on Earth. Yeah.
Good. We Used to Be Friends, I noticed during the whole hipster era and yacht rock and all that, when things were getting very synthy, very synthesizer-y, and you know, that kind of thing. That song was getting banged a lot on playlists, on digital, you know, radio, on web radio, you know, it was fairly omnipresent. I was getting a week wouldn't go by that someone didn't take a snapshot of their whatever player and go, "Hey, come on!"
Yeah.
And it was always that one. And now the guitars are back and full on. That song, I don't get that anymore. Now I get Bohemian Like You again.
Yeah.
Whereas right before that, in the early 2000s, Bohemian Like You carried on for 10 years.
It did.
And then by 2012, it all shifted, and it was We Used to Be Friends.
Yeah.
Synth, high production, synth music, and synth incorporated or adjacent, and now it's back to guitars, which is cool. And so it was fortunate timing that I got around to realizing that I really dislike the master that's living in the world of it. So I need to get this done so that I feel good about it.
Right. Even though it's been used so much. And like you said, there may have been a little bit of a lull, but I mean, that song, when you go how many years later, it's going to outlive all of us. You got to admit, Courtney, with all the ways that it's been used, there's always going to be somebody who's going to go, I know where I've heard that song. And it was, whether it's on the radio, whether it's from the video, whether it was because of a movie, whether or not it was, oh, I saw a commercial. Oh, there's that song. I know it's going to outlive all of us. So if it's going to outlive, I can understand why you would sit there and say, hey, I want this to sound in my head the best that it could possibly sound and have it finally mastered where I go, fine, take it out for the rest of my life and I'm happy.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's, the 2025 master is a stunner. It's like, whoa, that's really coming out of the speakers and filling up the room again, like the original one did to those kinds of stereos in 2000, 2001, I noticed, by 2010, stereos were more modern, more like what we hear now, where the mid-range is folded in so that it never really hurts. And so you need a different kind of take on mastering, and it's definitely less heavy-handed.
Yeah.
The mastering now is letting music breathe a lot better than it has probably since the 60s, really.
That's a good note to go out on, for sure. I want to remind everybody again, Pinups is out March 20th. Pick up the Covers album by the Dandy Warhols. No touring. You've heard it here first, so they're going to take about a year off. And meanwhile, Courtney Taylor-Taylor will be busy working on the film for his graphic novel, One Model Nation. And we thank you for getting it up there, Meg. And look forward to hopefully seeing that in 2027 when it comes to theaters near you. I think I plugged everything I could possibly plug. Courtney, thanks for giving me the time. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for being interested in giving us your time.
Oh, no, absolutely, man. Absolutely. As somebody who's been a fan of your work pretty much since 1997 when I was working at Alt Radio for their first single, and I'm sitting here going, I still think the story on Bohemian Like You, like I said, that song's going to outlive all of us, and not many people in this music industry can say that about at least one song. And you've been lucky enough to have several that have done well across the globe. And I know that's something deep down you got to say, hey, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Wow. Good enough.
Yeah, exactly. Brother, thanks again. I appreciate your time. You take care of yourself.
Thank you, man.
You got it, man. And we'll see you next week here on the A Game. You take care of yourselves, everybody. See you later.
Ciao, man.